Welcome to Prayer and Bible Band, Lesson 12. I do not own the rights to this music. Today's topic is Time is Filled with Transitions. The background reading is coming out of Genesis chapter 46, verses 1 through 7, Nehemiah chapter 6, verses 16 through 18, John chapter 14, verses 1 through 21. The devotional reading is Acts chapter 27, verses 5 through 12. The central verse. I will read the King James Version first and then the New Living Translation of Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. The New Living Translation of Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19. For I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the wasteland. The key terms for today's lesson: navigate, upend. Navigate, to make one's way about, over, or through, to operate or control the course of. Upend, to set, stand, or rise on end, to affect to the point of being upset or flurried. All people go through transitions. Some are good and some are bad. These new seasons of life stretch our faith, move people out of their comfort zones, and create feelings of loss. Transitions can be challenging, but they can also bring new growth. God will help every believer who asks for His help to navigate through every transition in life. Unexpected challenges can upend all the wonderful plans that a believer has made for their lives and offers them a challenge to respond in faith. One of the greatest tools that a believer can have and use during times of transition is the power of prayer, as he allows God to be his anchor. To transit means to move people or goods from one place to another. It means bringing about a change. Nehemiah saw a need to change some things in his precious Jerusalem. So with help, he got permission from the king and rallied the people. He rebuilt the temple in 52 days. When the people saw what he had done, they knew that God had been at work. Some things cannot, nor will they ever change or transition without the help of God. In the time of famine, the Israelites had to leave their home and go to Egypt to be able to survive. God told them not to be afraid to transition or to make a change. He assured them that He would be with them as they went. Jesus understood how hurtful transitions could be, so He took the time the night before His death to lead His disciples through the difficult transition of Him no longer being with them physically. He employed empathy, vision, and assurance to strengthen their faith. Believers must seek God's guidance as they seek to care for their friends and others in times of uncertainty or difficulty, or during the many transitions in their circles. The believer must know that when he goes through painful transitions in life, God is constant and He will never change. Every believer needs to know that he has someone who is unchanging when he faces stress, fears, and concerns that arise when changes happen in his life. This is especially true in the uncertain times that we are living in. Transitions are not easy, and they may cause a person to want to throw up their hands and run and hide rather than face them. But believers need to learn to rely on God's love and wisdom and allow Him to turn them into blessings in their lives. All believers go through transitions in life. Sometimes it is a loss of a job, a friendship, or an unexpected detour in their lives. Transitions are unavoidable. Jesus had walked, talked, and slept in the same places with His disciples for 3.5 years. He knew that His leaving would bring drastic changes in their daily lives, so He took the time to talk about it because He wanted them to stand strong in hope and carry on the mandate He had given them. He told them that in this world they would have troubles, but that things would be all right because He had prayed for them. In the midst of transitions that will occur, the believer must remain steadfast in his faith and his hope in Jesus Christ. The time will come when all that he will have is faith in Jesus Christ. For the word of the Lord tells the believer, "Know that the just shall live by faith." And that's Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. And also that without faith, it's impossible to please God. And that's Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6. Jesus taught the disciples to navigate change, build resilience, and foster unity, guided by the godly principles that he had taught them. He taught them to trust in his works and his faith, which was an example to them. He allowed them to see the human part of himself, yet he exposed them to the God inside of himself. Just as the disciples became equipped with the ability to navigate through the many trials and tribulations that he shared with them, every believer must learn to operate in that same faith. Jesus told believers that if they wanted to become his disciples, they too must take up their cross and follow him. By following Jesus, the disciples were able to learn how to reduce the stress of transition by adapting to the changes or resisting the changes. Whatever following Jesus may entail for the believer, its process and purpose are critical to his success as a servant leader. If he can't follow Jesus and be successful, then he will never be able to lead and represent the kingdom successfully. Biblical wisdom can help the believer cope with any situation in his life. Many new variables and challenges arise during transitions that may seem overwhelming, but the believer must realize the magnitude of God's power and love, which can improve the believer's attitude and his perspective drastically. This can help the believer approach his life with confidence and an overflowing of love and well-being for God's presence. In the lives of believers, nothing just happens. The outcomes they experience are predicated on actions or inactions, either by themselves or someone else. Their outcomes are also driven by several factors, including spiritual principles, personal choices, or their mindset. The believers need the right mindset and appropriate actions to finish strong and stay empowered for whatever transitions come in their lives. Sometimes he has to come to a nevertheless moment to be able to move forward in victory and triumph. But know that if he applies all that Jesus and his word has imparted into him, he will be a winner every time. The questions for today's lesson: number 1, what are some of the changes that believers must face? Number 2, what can they do to make transitions better? Number 3, why did God allow Israel to make a transition? Number 4, how can God help you with transitions in your life? The essential thought: sometimes changes are needed to get the results that are needed. The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.